Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. I'm Scott. I'm here with Laura Lee and Anna. Sorry we missed last week. We had some technical difficulties. We actually recorded yesterday, but we're re-recording because it sounded absolutely horrible. So we're going to take up where we left off last week with the California trip, and we're going to also have another topic about what we want and what we expect out of this podcast. So let's start. How was the rest of the California trip?
Equally as cold as the beginning.
Well, Anna's always cold.
I actually am always cold. I have a heater under my desk that Amanda keeps stealing, so, you know.
Actually, it was me.
I don't know how to feel about this.
Well, we should talk how we felt about the California trip.
I guess we could start there.
What did we do? What was the last thing we talked about? I don't remember.
I think when we recorded, we were in the hotel room. It was our kind of free day before we went out to LA, right?
Was it the 31st or the 29th?
It was the 31st. So it was right. It was before we went and, traveled to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl parade, before your birthday, Anna.
23.
Yay. So I think that's kind of where we left off.
Okay. So we got up for the parade at 2:30, 3 o'clock.
2:30.
And so it was New Year's. So naturally we were up to see the new year come in and tell Anna happy birthday and pack.
And eat cake.
Yeah. So we only got 2 hours of sleep at most.
2.5. I mean, we got up at 2:30. We had the expedition loaded by 3:30, and we were we were in Pasadena about 4:15.
Yeah,
in the morning.
Well, y'all were all asleep except Scott and Ever.
I wasn't asleep. I was on my phone.
I'm totally asleep.
I was not asleep. At that point, I was not asleep. No. Excuse me.
You're excused. It's fine.
But we got to the parking spot we were supposed to be at, or we thought we were supposed to be at about 3:30. So 3:30, 4 o'clock, we roll into where we think we're supposed to be. And me and Laura Lee had to be 3 miles away. So we called an Uber to take off and went on an excessive journey to get there. And once we finally got close, because we never got where we were supposed to be without having to walk another 1.5 miles, Anna was like, hey, we're moving the car.
Okay, let's start here.
Wait. First, we were told by people from Rose Bowl staff that we had to get there before 4 o'clock. So first of all, and then we also had a piece of yellow paper that had on there that basically please, all staff and police, please allow these people to get where they're supposed to go. So we have this handy dandy yellow piece of paper. We're holding it out. People are they're moving the barricades for us so we can get through with the car. Then we park, and on the piece of paper, I put it in, navigation, because there weren't any signs anywhere. So I put in the navigation, and it leads us to this random parking lot. And there's someone who pulled in before us. So I really thought it was it because somebody was already there too. So that's it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Now, let me tell y'all how it really was. When we went to the float barn, we ended up accidentally going through some security we didn't need to do. And we were just talking to him, telling him, we're from Tennessee. We've never been to the Rose Parade before. He was like, where are y'all staying? Well, we stayed in Costa Mesa.
Which is next to Newport Beach.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, oh my God, that is so far away. And we're like, it's just an hour from where we need to be. And he's like, no, that is so far away. So we followed his advice, and we got there about 4:15 in the morning. And Laura Lee parks in the back parking lot of a taco shop.
Keep in mind, I did put it in Google. I put it in the navigation because we don't know where we're going. We don't know where we're supposed to be. We're not from here. We're from Tennessee.
Yeah, we didn't check it out the day before or anything.
Okay, you know what? You could have driven, but we won't go into that. Anyway, Scott.
Okay, and then, not Scott, Anna.
Oh, still Anna time.
Yeah, still Anna. Still Anna. So Laura Lee parks us in the taco shop's parking lot, and I go sit in the front seat and fall asleep. Allison stays in the back seat and is also asleep.
While Scott and I are, Ubering and walking and trekking.
Starbucksing, standing on scaffolding. I'm asleep.
Freezing our butts off while they're in the car warm with heat.
We didn't turn on the car. We just covered up with blankets.
Well, that's your fault.
It was not. Okay, it was a little windy, so it was fine, in the vehicles where you guys were. It was not, obviously, but whatever. I digress. So I'm dead asleep, and suddenly knocking wakes me up, and I am scared to death, and I'm so confused. I roll down the window, and I'm like, what? And the guy's like, are you trying to park here? And I'm like, what? Eventually, he gets across that we're in the wrong spot. So I turn on the car and I ask him, where am I headed? Again, I think I asked him like 3 times. We ended up going like 1 block up. And to Lorelai's credit, I don't think that this parking lot was open when we got there at 4:15 in the morning when they went off to Uber land, but whatever. And so we ended up parking there and getting boxed in. So bumpers were like an inch apart. And I'm driving this huge Expedition. I've never driven anything that big except for on this trip. Thank you, Homer Skelton. Thank you, Homer Skelton. I loved it. Very tempted to get a large vehicle. The next vehicle I get is cool. So, yeah. And then Allison and I, once we get there, we end up going to our spots. Allison is in the stands, and I find a spot in the crowd to stand in.
And while they are there, Scott and I are literally 3.1 miles away, like a whole 5K away down the road. We're next to people from NBC and Spectrum and Mandarin News Organization.
It's like San Francisco or something like that.
They're from San Francisco. And we are on 3-story scaffolding.
Before we got scaffolding, I feel so bad for our Uber driver because he came and picked us up and he's like, where do you need to go? I'm like, oh, we're media. We're here for the parade. He's like, okay, cool. But of course, the entire parade route has already been locked down. No one can get close to it.
And what road was locked down exactly, Scott?
All of them.
It was the
Colorado.
And then Orange Grove, or
it was Colorado. I know
that
for
was
sure.
the other one too. That's where they told us to go. But
he wound up. He was kind of upset with the organization of the parade because no one knew where to send us. We were told to go left and then go left again and then go right and then go back to where we started.
And the GPS was telling us another way.
So eventually, I just felt bad for the guy. I was like, just pull over. We'll get out. Thanks for the ride. Sorry for all this. And we walked the rest of the way, which is fine. Not his fault at all. He did great. Thank you. I don't remember your name. You were awesome.
Thanks, Uber.
Yeah, thank you, Uber. But we finally got to where we were. We went up to the scaffolding. We're sitting there for a while. And then someone from LA Times was like, hey, there's a Starbucks down the street. You should go check it out. So we went and we're waiting in this super long line. And guy sticks his house Starbucks and goes, there's an express line, $5 for coffee and donuts. So naturally we jumped on that and went back to
Starbucks.
Yeah, they killed it that day.
I wish I had Starbucks. Dang.
It was nice, yeah. So we got out and we're in our ill-prepared California wear because it's California. It's hot. It's not hot in the winter.
It was cold. It was cold the whole trip.
It was dark and cold and we were sitting there in skinny jeans and hoodies trying to stay warm with a cup of coffee
on 3 stories scaffolding.
Yeah,
not a good plan.
Skinny jeans and hoodies just explains our whole trip.
It pretty much does.
Because we were all in skinny jeans and hoodies when we went to the
Cadillac Ranch.
Yeah, Cadillac Ranch, excuse me. And then again when we stopped in Gallup, New Mexico.
And it was snowing heavily.
Yep. None of us had, I think Scott had boots, but they really weren't like thick boots. Like none of us had
I'm wearing them right now. They're just thin leather boots.
Yeah, none of us. We were all in sneakers and ballet flats, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think it was when we were walking to Starbucks, Scott and I got to see some people like out in the streets and things. And we had watched the news, like the local news, and they were reporting that people were like camping out and like all kinds of stuff. But we really didn't like understand until we were like literally standing beside them and they had fires, they had hammocks, they had, like sleeping bags and tents.
Yes.
And like they were cooking out and like they were, they had, celebrated New Year's the night before kind of as a community. And that to me, like, at first I kind of thought it was really ridiculous that people would be camping out for this parade. Then I was like, this is really cool that this community, does this and like they, do this. So
there was one little kid I was real jealous of when we were in line. I didn't know she was there at first until she coughed. I look over and there's this wagon with probably 10 blankets in it and a head popping out. And she was out like a light. It looked so comfortable next to the fire. I was like, can we switch?
So I was in the crowds, and so Allison was in the stands and I was in the crowds in front of the stands, and there was a family that had camped out the night before, and they had a tarp and they had like used tarps to save space so people couldn't stand on the tarp. And so their family could have front row seats to the parade. And so all the little kids were, of course, excited. Me, not so much, because I had to stand behind them and then try and catch live video of the band as they were passing. But, yeah, there was trash all over the street from them partying the night before. And it was super cool, though. Just to know that they had camped out there the whole time and they had been there before and knew what to do to save their spot so they could have front row seats.
We found out once the parade finally got started, it was going great. And our boss called us in scaffolding and said that they cut off the parade right when Mumford Band went on. So we called Anna, who was ahead of us. We'd already seen Mumford. So she was waiting for the live video to come on. But there was one group that got excellent footage of them, and Will Ferrell was talking about the Mumford Band, and it was with Funny or Die. And the day before we were getting our press passes, we were laughing that Funny or Die was there. Like, why are they here? They're an internet comedy group.
Of all the people to get the best coverage of the Mumford Band,
and
it was
awesome.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he was really nice. And apparently it was on a hit or miss with him. Either he was being super grateful and nice to the band, or he was trashing them.
Really?
And we got lucky and got praise. And he was
not lucky. I mean, they're pretty great.
They are great. But he decided to praise them. He's like, if you work out marching band music like I do, he's like, this is the band for you. And I don't work out, cool. But if I did, I'd listen to Mumford.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like seeing Mumford coming, because I had Laura Lee and Scott tell me what floats would be in front of Mumford. And so at this point, I'd been standing there for hours because I was about an hour and 20 minutes behind where Scott and Laura Lee were. The extra 20 minutes being, I think a float caught on fire.
Oh, yep. And it was the American, I think the Chinese American Heritage float. And Scott and I...
We saw it and it was awesome.
We saw it and it was really great. And then we actually thought the parade was over after it, kind of, because there was a big gap after it. And so we left. So, because we thought it was over. We were kind of, at that point, we were very tired, but...
No, I did not get to see the Chinese American Heritage float because it caught on fire. And so there was a gap, not really a gap, but all the floats and stuff stopped like right in front of me, and I was able to like get a couple of pictures, not very many. So my phone was dying. Of all the times for my phone to start dying, it was like at 38% the whole time, and then by the time Mumford Band got there, it was at 25%. So that was nerve-wracking to get the live video of the band, but I'm glad I did. The people around me, there was one lady that was super nice and helpful and she was super helpful when I was trying to get the video of the band. She was telling people what I was doing.
Move.
Pretty much. She was not nice. She was from the area. I mean, she was nice to me, but all the other people she could care less about.
We were lucky because we had the Mandarin TV to us on the right, but the people to the left of us, they were with Spectrum, yeah, and they just came to watch the parade. They didn't have cameras or anything. So they let us get in their way to take pictures and videos, and people next to them never showed up. So we had quite a bit of room up where we were. So we were able to elbow people get out of the way. I felt bad because I was in everybody's shot climbing off the scaffolding when Mumford was coming because I was like, there they are at the top of the hill. And so I jumped off the scaffolding, ran, got it, and then it's like, okay, we can go home now.
I was hanging over. The Mandarin TV has some footage of Scott dancing, but they have footage of me. I got all up in their shot, and I was hanging over the scaffolding trying to get, like, as Mumford was leaving, some back shots of them marching into the crowd. So I was just hanging over, and I was like smiling at them, and they were just kind of giving me like, what is she doing?
He was hilarious. The host that was there for Mandarin TV was cracking me up, and he kept asking us where we were from, and we kept trying to explain it to him, and we tried a few different ways to get him to understand where we were from, and finally I pulled up a map and showed him where we're from and where we were then, and he saw it. He went, oh boy. He's like, when do you guys leave? I was like, about 5 minutes. And he's like, are you flying? No, we're driving. Oh boy.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, we got all kinds of reactions from people when we would tell them that we were driving to not only to California, on the way back. I actually, after the parade had ended on my part, we got boxed in, and we were so boxed in that Allison and I decided to go to In-N-Out and get lunch. And it took us like 20 minutes to get In-N-Out or more. And we were still boxed in by the time we got back. So that was a whole different experience, but the traffic after the parade was crazy. And as I was pulling out into the street and going past, other parked vehicles and stuff on the sides, I actually had one guy tell me to roll down my window, and he started talking to me about how dirty our car was because it was covered in like snow, muck, and stuff. And he was like, "Where are you from?" It's like, "I'm from Tennessee. Did you drive?"
Yep.
Yeah. He was absolutely shocked that we drove all the way here from Tennessee.
Because once the parade was over, me and Laura Lee started walking back towards the car, and I looked at the phone, and it said 3-hour walk, and I was like, "Oh, we're not doing that." So we walked a block or two, and we stopped at a coffee shop.
You walked a block or two?
We walked a lot more than that. He's being very, very generous. Or not generous. I don't know.
We walked a bit.
And
then
in the wrong direction.
No, it was the right direction. We started off in the right direction. But we stopped at the coffee shop, and Allison was like, "Okay, we'll be there in a little bit. We're blocked in." I was like, "Okay, I can't take that long." And we were at the coffee shop for probably an hour or so. I'm like, "Okay, we're going to start walking towards you guys." And then we walked a little bit in the wrong direction, and then the right direction, and then the wrong direction again. And finally, we got super close to each other. And I was like, "Okay, we were sending each other our locations back and forth." So I was like, "Okay, we're real close. I'm going to go over here so you guys get out of traffic." And then Allison, who's my wife, called me, and she's like, "We're on this street." Like, "Oh, we just passed that street." So I turn around, I see the car, it's at a stoplight, so I take off running, and Laura Lee's on the phone and half asleep, and she's just kind of sludging along.
I was so tired and just so done.
So I was on the phone with my wife, and I was like, "We're gonna make it." And luckily the light turned green and red real quick, so we did make it to the car, but then it was still a nightmare to get out of the traffic and to a place where we could pull over. Me and Laura Lee needed lunch because we still hadn't eaten by this point.
Donut power.
Yeah, and then we had to look at traffic to get home. Let's
talk about like just the fun of trying to figure out how we were going to get home. So we pull up the map. I think where were we? We ate like at Burger King or something.
Wendy's. We went to Wendy's. I drove all the way from being boxed in the after parade traffic down an alley.
I think we drove back to Costa Mesa.
No, not quite. We were between Burbank and Pasadena.
Okay.
Just
it felt well. I think I fell asleep.
Really?
I did. I'm so tired.
I was driving. I ended up going down this alley where it left like an inch on each side. It was terrifying but fun. Glad I got to do that. It was a good experience, I guess. And then we drove to whatever Wendy's, wherever that was, and then
food. Yes, food. But we pretty much like got there and we started thinking about it. And I'd already talked to Lucianne, and we'd already talked to kind of about the different situations that were coming up because we were originally just going to go back the way we came. So it was kind of like the northern route towards, through Flagstaff, through Albuquerque, back through Oklahoma City.
But there was a blizzard.
Through 40. Yes. So we drove through a blizzard on the way here, and, we were like, well, it's 40, they're used to it. They'll just clear the road and it'll be fine. Well, they actually ended up closing part of 40 that was closest to Albuquerque. So at that point we were like, well, we could take 40 and then go back down south and then swivel around. But then it was like, well, it's going to snow in Arizona now. And it did. So we ended up just taking the southern route to Tucson. Then we went from Tucson to El Paso, and then El Paso is very, very close to the border. And so we actually got to see Mexico as we were driving, and it was snowing.
Well, there is actually a picture on our social media of sunset over Mexico.
Photo credit.
So yeah, I took that. Totally fun.
We got a lot of feedback from a video we took in Dallas.
Oh yeah.
It was sleeting while we were driving.
The roads were fine. The wind chill caused a little bit of ice on the car.
Sleeting a little bit. It was fine. It was no big deal.
The roads were fine.
The roads were warm.
So we were safe. Trust me, we're being very cautious and safe. So
it was just ice on the car.
We just thought it was hilarious how much ice had accumulated on the car.
Yes. Let's talk about, let's see. So we had that fun gas station when we were.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So we had just gotten into Texas, and.
No. This was Arizona.
It was Arizona.
It was so Arizona because you wanted to get that mug. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was so nasty.
Yep.
Not only was it nasty outside with the snow and the gook.
Anyway.
I'm sure Arizona is a lovely state, by the way.
Yes. Arizona,
that rest stop sure wasn't.
We're not going to mention the name of it, but let's just say we had a very bad experience at a gas station. It's one of the only negative Google reviews I've ever left in my life. That tells you anything. Anyway, that was a very fun time.
Now I want to leave a Google review.
I'll share it with you.
I had a fine experience. Guys have it easier, so.
Yeah, you didn't have to go to the...
The restroom was fine for me. I bought my food, no problem. And then by this point, me and Anna were back in the car, and we're like, what's taking Laura Lee so long? And then she comes out with nothing. We're like, what happened? She's like, the machine broke.
I was so hungry.
Oh, and I wouldn't have eaten anything there. The bathroom smelled so bad.
It was just a bad experience all around.
It was horrible.
We made it through Arizona and we got into Texas. And I don't know how many of you have driven across Texas, but it literally feels like you were driving for days if you just go across Texas. Not the panhandle, but actually like across Texas.
See, I've driven north to south from, Arkansas down. Right. And it's taken forever, but it took so much longer to go across. It was probably because we were going like 45, 50 because of the snow, but also
in some places.
In some places.
It was...
we ended up going through Border Patrol. That's how far south we went.
Yeah, we went through Border Patrol and got some nice x-rays and,
Scott
thumbs
has
ups.
a story.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed they were taking pictures, so I looked at the camera and gave a thumbs up.
He was in the passenger seat.
And he leaned back out of the window and gave me a thumbs up back. And I was like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah. I had no clue what was going on.
So I think we drove through Texas. And then Anna got us to the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Me and Scott, so Scott and I switched in Fort Worth. I drove from Fort Worth to outside of Dallas from about, I guess 2:45 in the morning to 4:45. And then Laura Lee took over and drove from Dallas to a Waffle House in Arkansas.
Yep. I was driving, and at that point, literally everyone else was asleep. And I was like, uh-oh. So then I'm just driving. I'm like, I have cold air. Like, I have the radio on, and I was getting very sleepy. So I eventually had to pull in. I was trying to see if I could make it to the Sunrose. So we pulled into the Waffle House. I was very close. We pulled into the Waffle House, and everyone just kind of woke up, and I was like, we have to stop.
That was the best waffle and coffee I've ever had.
It was so good. Thank you, Texarkana. Thank you so much for your Waffle House. Just thank you.
I woke up every once in a while and I would ask you if you were okay. You okay?
Yep.
And then just go right back to sleep. Yep. I could not keep my eyes open at all. Scott and Allison were dead to the world in the back seat.
I'm so jealous of Allison. She slept from the time we left the hotel until we got to Memphis.
Yep. Like I think she woke up and I was like, we're in Arkansas. She was like, really?
She just tagged along for a free trip to California. So yeah.
And it was an adventure. So
it was.
Oh yeah, it was an adventure. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. It was definitely I think a really, really fun trip.
Next time we're flying.
Yeah, next time we're definitely flying. Unless it's summer, then maybe. But
so we made it back to Memphis about noon. I think we were originally supposed to be back at 6, but
it was fine with me.
Yeah, so we got back and me and Anna left. We didn't stay for work, but Laura Lee did for some reason.
Reasons we're not going to go into. Thank God for Laura Lee and her work ethic.
Her robotic non-sleep habits.
Sure.
Hey,
yeah.
Lots of coffee. Death Wish Coffee. Just giving a shout out. Like if you want to sponsor us, like that'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, we bought a bag of that and went through it in about 3 days. And those 3 days were great. The next few days, not so great. But after we got back, we went home, slept for a little while, and got back up and got to work on the magazine because it had to be out in, I think, 3-4 days after we got back.
We got back like the 4th. It was supposed to be due the 6th, and then it got moved back to the 9th.
Right. And thank goodness.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it was a lot.
But I think, I think a lot of people don't understand sometimes that the magazine, like, you bring it together over the course of, so we usually do around like 2 weeks, let's say. But there is press week so that, that's your third week and everything has to come together from finishing up all the ads to making sure the content is good, doing the layout, making sure all the pictures are edited, sometimes running back and getting another picture. It really all comes together very quickly, and it can be stressful stressful, but for me personally, it is stressful, but it's also not, because I really love doing it, and I really love seeing everything come together, and I really love, showcasing our community. So
yeah, and for me, like, there's a lot of work that gets done in the weeks leading up to it, but a lot more, at least I feel, a lot more happens in the 2 days before press than leading up to it. And not, you don't do that intentionally. It just, everything gets finalized. Everyone is in high gear, and we're here constantly
in our pajamas.
Moving. Yeah, it's.
I'm gonna have to start bringing pajamas.
It's great.
There was one day I went home probably normal time, 6 o'clock or so, and I was like, okay, call me if you need me. And about 9:30, 10 o'clock, like, we need you. So I came back up, and I was in pajama bottoms, hoodie, and my Darth Vader slippers. And we stayed up here till like 3 o'clock or so, getting it done. But.
Oh my gosh! Times like these, I've up until this week, I've had 2 jobs, so I haven't stayed till 3 o'clock in the morning. But next Monday, I'm gonna start full time here, so looking forward to all nighters with guys. Yeah,
it was really awesome that Anna's parents actually brought us spaghetti, and we literally just ate all of it up.
It was gone in like 2 minutes. So thank you, Anna's parents. Thanks, Ma.
Thanks, Ma. Also, it was, Lucianne is usually here making sure everything is like, 100% there, pushing this, like, the publish button, all that kind of stuff. She actually was not here when that happened. So it was me, Scott, and Amanda, and Nathan, and we were all here. And then I was also in the process of moving, so I had to also leave a little bit. And so it was
me.
Yeah, everyone really tag team it.
I was the only one that could that knew how to upload, so that was stressful. If it's messed up, it's my fault, but I'm blaming Laura Lee. So
that's fine. I'll take the blame.
That's why we have an oven in our.
The last time I uploaded by myself, I had a nightmare. I woke up in the middle of the night, and my wife was like, "What? What's wrong?" I was like, "I had a horrible dream." She was like, "What?" And I was like, "I had a dream the magazine was out of order." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "They're going to fire me." I was like, "I feel like it got uploaded out of order." She's like, "What's the worst that could happen?" I was like, "They'll fire me." And she's like, "It's not out of order." I was like, "It might be out of order. Like, they're real particular about the way it gets uploaded." And I got to work. I told Laura Lee and Lucy, I'm like, "Oh, I'm sure it's fine." And then when it got delivered, my heart like stopped. And I opened it up, and Laura Lee, "Oh no!" And I was like, "Oh no, what?" And she's like, "No, I'm just messing with you. It's fine."
Oh Lord. Yeah, I got asked if I would like to drop some stuff into the layout this time around, and I said no, because I don't want to mess it up.
I think we always have a lot of fun because this business and the magazine is still young, but it's also kind of an educational process for all of us. We always we get to learn new things, sometimes every day, sometimes every minute. But I think that's always really cool that we get to show each other and kind of say, "Hey, do you want to try this? Do you want to learn about layout?" And sometimes it's
no, I don't.
But sometimes it's yeah, let's do it. So
yeah, I never thought I would be running a YouTube channel or co-hosting a podcast. Yet here I am.
Podcast is my favorite bit so far.
It's not for I finally figured it out. We've had a lot of stress. I've had a lot of stress trying to figure this out. We recorded the first time with just the microphone coming from the laptop in California.
Rough conditions, though. Very rough conditions.
And then we went to record Tuesday, but the audio sounded horrible because we only had one microphone, and it's a directional microphone, so it only picked up one person.
Me.
Yeah. So I went last night to Guitar Center and Best Buy, and we got all the stuff we need to upload and record correctly. So here we are, Thursday. We want to upload tomorrow, so I got to edit this tonight and in the morning. And that's a good segue into the next topic.
So what do we expect out of this podcast?
Where do you see it going? What do you want to happen to the podcast growth-wise?
I think I think as a company, we really want to, utilize it as a tool to give you guys news, kind of like learn about what we do here. I mean, hopefully you guys aren't bored to tears with our stories. We're wanting want to use it so it'll really complement the magazine.
I want to see it be more than just being about the community. I mean, that's the main goal of this podcast is to be about our area and what's going on with the magazine. But I want to be, behind the scenes, what we're doing. I want people to be able to ask questions, for us to give advice about design or the way the business is run. I also want it to grow outside of our coverage area. I want it to be far-reaching. I want people to get enjoyment out of it that aren't in Atoka, Brighton, Mumford, surrounding areas.
I think I echo what Scott says by saying that we really want this to kind of be a mashup of many different things and kind of just from answering questions like you said. So use our social media, message us, DM us, tweet us. But I think that this is going to be a really fun podcast.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah.
What do you want out of it?
Me?
Yeah.
I want to keep doing it. I'm so excited. So in December 2017, I graduated from college at Austin Peay State University. And then in May of 2018, towards the end of May, I started interning here. And then end of August, beginning of September, I started working here part-time. And then next week I start here full-time. So, I'm just excited to, be a part of a local magazine where I get to use my communications degree and interview people. I'm very happy I get to write for the magazine. I love doing the social media.
So I've been here since November last year.
2017?
Yeah.
Because it's 2019 now.
Whatever. I've been here since November.
You've been here over a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, been here for that long. And when I applied, I didn't know there was a magazine. It felt kind of bad because it's like 6 months old back then.
I didn't know. It was nearly a year
I
old.
applied for logo design and whatnot. You're going to do that to the magazine. What magazine?
This magazine.
Yeah. So that was a fun drop into it, coming from sign shops and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's been a whirlwind ever since, and I've gotten to do a lot I never thought I would. Like I said, I never thought I would be doing video production or audio production, but I'm in charge of both of those now, and it's great.
Yeah, it is great.
I don't know what to say.
No, it's really cool working here.
I don't know what to say. It's great. Y'all give me a lot of freedom.
You're just saying that because I'm here.
No, seriously though. It's really cool working here because you get to do things you never thought you'd get to do with your life. I never thought I'd get to write. I never expected to put my social media skills and lack thereof to use. It's really cool working here because you never know what you're going to be doing next.
Yeah, that's one thing they won't let me do is write.
Okay, well, it's not like we wouldn't let you.
I wrote 2 stories and they were okay. Give me the pen.
That's okay. Some people's skills are better in certain areas than they are in others.
I can write made up stuff all day long, but if it has to be an informative article, I'm screwed because
we went to Disney.
We had fun. Yeah, I can't flourish it. It's like, what's the song about? Oh, it's about the STEM program. What happened? They built some bridges. What else? They want to grow. What else? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Just from those few sentences, I could add on 12 more.
Yeah, just I have nothing else to add.
You have to ask yourself questions. Who all was building the bridges? Why were they building the bridges? Where and how?
Okay, see, this is how I'd write that.
Check out one of our other podcasts that'll be coming up soon about how and why you should write and what the heck does it all mean.
And it'll be just me sitting there going, write the information and then end the podcast.
No, there's so much more to writing than just putting down the information.
Because the way I would write that as an informative thing, I always got in trouble for that in school because I could do creative writing things. I could make a 4-page paper in no time, but they're like, defend your argument because I agree with it.
Because it's cool.
No.
Why do you agree with it? Because he's right.
Why is he right? Because he is.
Because he did the research, so I don't have to.
No.
That's why he's right.
The end. No, seriously, we have a truly awesome team here at Cypress. And I'm very, very thankful for both these guys sitting with me, but also, for Nathan, one of our photographers. He's absolutely extraordinary. Amanda, Dana, Lucianne, Madam President, and Michelle.
We use all these names. That's another goal of mine for the podcast, is for you guys to get to know everybody through this. And also I'm going to try that with with the YouTube channel. I don't want to be the only one on it, but I've been that way so far. So
no, there's one video of me, you, and Nate delivering magazines.
Yeah, but you don't talk to the camera. No one knows who you are. Hey, it's a girl in the background dropping magazines on the floor. So
for me, not you.
So through this and the YouTube channel, I want you guys to get to know who we are and to grow with us as the magazine gets larger and with the podcast. And I want this to eventually have its own like website and social media and be its own kind of separate thing, but also an accessory to the magazine.
I totally stole this from something I saw in the building at some point during my stay here, but we want to grow into a cypress forest.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Truth.
Totally stole it. Not mine at all.
And for those that aren't super familiar with us, we are based in West Tennessee, but we're not just Tipton County. We cover a lot of different counties now. I'm not going to name them all out. You guys can look down at some of the details below or check out our website. But
what is that website?
cypressmag.com, Anna. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
And for those of you who are banging your head against the table going, oh my God, no one cares about this information, they're not all going to be this informative. We are going to have a lot of fun, but we're new. We're letting you know who we are.
This is episode number 2.
Yeah.
Yep. We're word vomiting.
I think, I want to come up with questions to ask you guys and for you guys to ask me in upcoming episodes. And of course, I want you guys to email us, tweet us, Facebook, questions that you have about what we do, who we are.
And if you do message any of those things, I will be the one responding.
So send a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Around 3 a.m.
Please don't. Both of our phones go off.
I get none of them, so annoy them.
Thank you, Scott.
Mm-hmm. That can be changed.
But
as long as you don't post anything that can be changed.
We're also on iTunes. We just got that figured out minutes before we started recording this episode.
Which is so exciting.
If you're on our website, the whole 5 of you who are listening to us, we're on iTunes.
It went down one.
Do you lose somebody? Hello? Are you lost? We're trying to podcast.
But for those of you on our website, you can now find us on iTunes. You can share it more easily, leave a comment. The more reviews, the more stars we get, the higher up we go in the podcast rating, the more people that will see us. So please leave us a comment, leave a review. We would greatly appreciate it. I'm all out of things to talk about. So we will see you guys next week.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.